welcome to my review of the Flying Dinosaur at Universal Studios Japan. This was my 300th roller coaster as well as my first B&M flying coaster. I had 2 rides on the Flying Dinosaur during my visit to USJ and I was blown away by both rides. But as always, let's take a look at the stats first. The Flying Dinosaur opened in 2016 as the largest flying coaster in Asia, with an impressive height of 46 meters. It also used to be the longest flying coaster in the world, with a length of 1,124 meters, although that record got broken by Fly at Phantasialand. Its top speed of 100 kilometers an hour is very solid as well, and it features 5 inversions. Theming-wise, the Flying Dinosaur is interesting. The queue itself is loosely themed to a dinosaur paddock, but there isn't too much to look at. I only waited in the single rider line, because that was a good bit quicker, so I might have missed some of the theming. The station is certainly more impressive, as both sides of the dual loading platform are themed to dinosaur cages, which looks really cool. The entire Jurassic Park area of the park is really well themed, and the Flying Dinosaur looks stunning as it glides over the pathways. And once again, this ride has a very strict loose article police, with an overcomplicated locker system and metal detection. But as it's implemented in the middle of the queue line, it doesn't hurt the capacity at all. If you're fast here, or don't have any loose articles, you can get through the metal detection a lot quicker in order to save time. After the metal detection, a staircase with the normal line, the single rider line and the fast pass line leads up to the station. As you can't choose your row, I was only able to ride towards the back of the train, so I can't judge front row rides, but I certainly wasn't disappointed with the ride. When I boarded the train on my first ride, they were only using 1 loading platform, which lowered the capacity a little bit, but they were still sending those trains out very frequently. Later in the day, they used both loading platforms, and they were able to send a train every minute, which certainly increased capacity. Once you've boarded the train and secured your restraints, which are the same on any B&M flying coaster, the ride operators check those restraints lightning fast, and then you're already tilted back into the flying position. This park proves that flying coasters can have the same capacity as sit-down coasters if the ride operators know what they are doing. I've been told by some people that they find the flying position on B&M flyers uncomfortable, especially because you are on that position for a pretty long time, but I didn't mind it at all. And contrary to what I expected, I found the restraints to be a bit more comfortable than Fly's restraints, although they are extremely similar. After dispatching and climbing up the lift hill, you get an awesome view of the area below the ride. But once the train has reached the top, the madness begins. Unlike other flying coasters, which usually start with a more gradual turn drop, the Flying Dinosaur plummets down a pretty steep drop that also turns to the left. As I was in the back of the train on both of my rides, this drop was crazy, as you basically dive down head first while getting pushed into the back of your seat. I've never experienced anything like this before, and this is a great way to start the ride. Next up is the 540 degree 0G roll, although RCDB considers this to be an inline twist and a fly to lie. The start of this inversion feels like a normal 0G roll, which feels great in the flying position, but instead of stopping after a 360 degree rotation, the train twists another 180 degrees, which feels really out of control. And the second you are lying on your back, the train rises up into a raven turn, which pulls extremely high and sustained positive Gs. This element crushes you into the back of your seat, and as it happens right after one of the craziest rolls out there, it's just pure chaos. Those were just 3 elements, and the ride already solidified itself as one of the best on the planet. After a really fun turn above the area's main plaza, the train dives down the ride's pretzel loop. This was my first pretzel loop, and it was just ridiculous. It feels like you're getting crushed for several seconds, which is insane. The valley of this element is underground, so you not only have a strong grayout, but you also lose your orientation for a moment. The train then rises up again, and the exit of this element could probably give good airtime in the front row, although in the back it's all about those positive Gs. The second half of Flying Dinosaur starts with a small airtime hill, which has some weak floater airtime, before the train glides around a turn that's located above the waterfront. This isn't an intense element, but it's really scenic. Next up is an inline twist, which has some weak but sustained whip. Then follows a helix, which has some very sustained and fairly strong positive Gs. The ride ends with another inline twist, which comes out of nowhere, and this one is a little more sustained than the previous one. The train then glides into the brakes. That's the layout of the Flying Dinosaur. While the second half isn't that intense, that first half is way too good. Having several extremely intense elements back to back is the recipe for perfection, and the Flying Dinosaur nails it. I've always wondered how this ride compares to Fly, and although Fly's theming is a lot better and the ride is longer, the Flying Dinosaur is way more intense, which easily makes it the better one of the two. After riding the Flying Dinosaur, I also rode Acrobat at Nagashima Spa-Land, another B&M flying coaster, and I was excited to see how that one would compare. But once again, the Flying Dinosaur is a lot better, which starts with the pretzel loop being more forceful. Out of the 5 flying coasters that I've ridden, although the Zamperla Volaires don't deserve being called a flying coaster, the Flying Dinosaur is by far the best. It also became my new favorite coaster by B&M, which used to be the Leviathan. With my love for intense and out of control rides, the Flying Dinosaur easily gets a final score of 10 out of 10. I can't recommend it enough. It might be the best flying coaster on earth. And that was my review of the Flying Dinosaur at Universal Studios Japan. What's your favorite flying coaster? Thanks for watching. Bye.